Muted. Oh my word. I'm muted. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Hello, good day, and you're welcome to Igibra Live. This is actually um my first attempt at solo streaming, right? I think I even had a little bit of bug trying to bring up the countdown. Anyways, well, yeah, you're welcome to Igibra Live, and for our first solo stream, we're going to be talking about .NET 6 APIs with MongoDB, right? So we're all familiar with .NET 6 APIs, we're all familiar with data storage and all of the likes, but in this stream, we're just going to be discussing how to use .NET 6 APIs with MongoDB as our data storage, and not just using MongoDB as our data storage. I actually, while working, found out that we could actually use a class library called Mongo Entities, which makes things a whole lot of different or easier. Instead of using the MongoDB driver, we could just use Mongo Entities to just abstract the Mongo driver, and then just be on your way for whatever you want to do with MongoDB. But anyways, instead of talking too much, I would just like to share my screen so that I would see some few stuff before I even start coding, right? So first things first, let us see what MongoDB is. Let me share my screen quickly. Give me a second to do this. Okay, let's see. Okay, so what is MongoDB? Yeah, this is right off their websites. Just going to zoom this in a bit so that we can see it. Give me a second to zoom this in a bit. Okay, so it says MongoDB is a document database with the scalability and flexibility that you want with the querying and indexing that you need, right? And so basically, it's a document database, quite different from SQL database that are relational, right? So it's just storing documents as JSON objects, or storing data as documents. So I'm sorry about that. Anyways, yeah, so it's just a document database, and then it's quite easy, quite fast, and you know, we'll just see how it works while we're using it, right? So, and then MongoDB entities, right? What is MongoDB entities? So, if you go to mongodb-entities.com, it says it's a lightweight .NET standard library with barely any overhead that aims to simplify access to MongoDB by abstracting the official driver, just like I said, right? So normally, if you were going to use MongoDB, you probably need to install the MongoDB driver. But in this case, would not need that because it's already abstracted in this class library. So all we need is this class library, MongoDB entities, and then we're good to go. So while adding useful features on top of it, resulting in an elegant API surface which produces beautiful human-friendly data access code, right? So if you come to the website, you see a lot of reasons why you want to use it and all of that. But that's just that on MongoDB entities, right? So what else do we want to talk about? To use MongoDB, you want to probably install Mongo on your system, the server on your system, and then use it. But for this stream, we would not be using that. Would be using the cloud MongoDB that's already provisioned for us by MongoDB. So to do that, all we need to do is go on the website. Let me bring that up quickly. Oh, I think I need to play some music, right? So since I'm just here alone, it's gonna be boring without some music. So let me just play some music in the background to just make things lively a bit. Let's see, what music should I play? Hmm, let's try this. Okay. Hmm. Okay, I think I can hear it. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen a bit. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen now so we see the clouds storage I was talking about. Mm, there you are, sharing. Okay, so if you go to, let's see, um, let's see, if you go to mongodb.com/cloud/app and all of this, then you can create an account and just provision for yourself a cloud MongoDB storage for free if you're just trying to install it. And then there's also the paid version if you want to use it for more detailed jobs, right? So I'm gonna click on start free, and then it's just data. Yeah. So should I just do this one? Let's see. Oh, just why don't I just log in with let's see. I'm just going to log in here. Yeah, I'm gonna log in with GitHub. That's just gonna be faster. Stop this and come back here. Okay, I'm gonna log in with GitHub. Okay, so let me do this. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna bring up the code shortly. Give me a second. I'm just on my email account trying to get the code. All right. Okay, so here it is. Here you are. Come out. Where are you? Okay, great. Come back here and then put that in there. What? What? That's weird. Let's go that. Okay, I think I got the wrong one. Right, so now we're signing in, and just going to authorize this, and that will be redirected to MongoDB. Yay! Oh no, I think I haven't created an account for that, so I really do have to create an account. That's sad. Let me just click on sign up over here. So I'm gonna just click on sign up here, and what email I'm going to use? I think I already have an existing email with my Google account. I probably want to use that so that it's gonna be faster. Okay, this is a lot of hassle. Um, all right, I'm going to go off camera for a second, and then I'm going to log in and then common camera. So let's log in on here, and let's see if we can this. And I need to log in. Okay, going to log in on my Google account, and alright. Alright, so it's coming up shortly, and let me just stop sharing that screen and come back on the screen. So, alright, sharing window, sharing. Okay, so I'm signing in on here. I'm signing in on here, and it's gonna take a minute to come up. It's coming up. I think I don't know why it's taking a while. I think it's because of I'm streaming and it's taking a lot of resources for my machine, for my internet and my machine, and it's taking a while to come up with this. So I'm trying to provision a cloud MongoDB server, and yeah, it's coming up, coming up, coming up, coming up. So what I want to do is I already have a project on here, or I already have a cluster on here that I'm using, but I want to create a new one. So when I sign in, I just create a new cluster. I click on create a new cluster, and I want a free one. So I'm gonna have to go to shared for a free one. It's taking a minute. Come on. Okay, great. Right, so let's confirm that it's been free. Yes, it says for learning and exploring will be in the sandbox, blah, blah, blah. No credit card required to start. So yeah, so we could just choose any cloud provider and region, and some just gonna go with, I'm gonna go with Azure, and region. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, I'm just gonna use Ireland. And I'm going to leave the rest of the configurations like that. Okay, so for this, I'm going to name it Net6 Mongodb. Alright, so I think we're good. Then know what else do I need to do. I'm going to hide this free forever, and I'm going to create a cluster. So it's going to deploy this, and then come back to me to create an account. Not really an account, anyways. To create sort of an access account, so that I'll be able to access this from my local machine or from anywhere, right? So after creating a database server, I have to get a login username and password, right? So I have to create that. I probably have one already on there because I already have an existing cluster running. But the project already has one. Oh, I can't create more than one, right? Oh, that's why I needed to create a new page. I guess I would have to use the existing one. So basically, this is how you can create an existing cluster. When it comes back, it asks you for a username and password which you can create, and then use that to access your cloud database cluster. So I'm going to go back to the existing one. Well, let's see. Let's see. So this is the existing one, right? So I already have it. As you can see, it's already has um, on the graph this stuff that shows that okay, we've already been using it, we've been persistent to it, we've been trying to get data from it and all of that, right? So to connect to it, I'll just click on connect, and yeah. So another thing is, since it's on the cloud, you have to give some permissions, especially to your machine, to be able to access it. So you probably could say you want to add your current IP address or a different IP address. Probably it's on a different machine. You could do that or allow access from anywhere, which is not really advised, but to just allow add your current IP address, right? So I'm gonna do that because when I'm not using it, I remove all access from it, right? So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna choose the connection method. So normally I would have gone with connecting using MongoDB Compass, right? Or connecting with your application, but we do not have an application yet. So what's the next thing we need to do? The next thing we need to do is create our .NET6 project and then pass our connection string into it, right? So I guess we're going to come back here when we need the connection string. So, but then if you want to connect to MongoDB Compass, Compass is a MongoDB, it's a Mongo application that you could use to explore, modify, or visualize your data without using an application, right? So just GUI that you could use to do all of that, right? So for now, I'm just going to go back and we're going to create the MongoDB, sorry, a .NET 6 application. All right, so I'm going to stop my sharing now, and share. I'm going to share my Visual Studio application, right? So that's coming up shortly. Let's see. Okay, great. So I'm going to let's do this. All right, so just make sure we're focused on one application at a time. So I'm going to I'm going to create a new project. Since we're creating an API with the .NET 6 SDK, so just click on create new projects, then search for web API. And we're going to have a couple of options shortly. We are working the one with C#. So that's going to click next. I'm going to call this Net6 MongoDB. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be very Net6 MongoDB, and then I'm just going to pick the location for this. Okay. I think this is just going to pick next. And clicking next. So Net6 long-term support. Authentication type, I'm going to leave it at none for now. Configured for HTTPS, I'm going to leave that enabled. Docker, I'm going to leave that as this. Use controller. So normally we could with .NET 6 we have the ability of creating minimal API where we do not have controllers. We just create all of our endpoints right there in the startup, but we want to use controllers, right? And then we also want to enable open API support. That's a flag for documentation. So right now we're going to click on create, and then .NET 6 is going to provision or just scaffold for us a quick web API that we could just get and see that it's functional, it's working, and all of that. Right, so let's just give it a second for it to scaffold that up for us. And while that is happening, let me quickly see if I can get a different sound. Well, let's see. Here we go. Okay. Sorry. Okay, let's see if let's just start looking. So, wow. So if it's taking this long, then it's probably going to be much more difficult than it. That's, should I just switch to visuals to get good? I probably need to do that. I probably need to switch to visuals to get good, because if it's taking this long scaffolding, then I'm going to have our hands full. So let me do that, and let's going to my clicking this, and console and file explorer, and give it a second while doing that. This. So this is just so that well, going a little bit faster, right? So because if it's taking that long to start filling up, then it's going to take a while to run the app and then so we have this and this next command to open it up now, command line and CRUD to open it up in it wants to be CRUD. Alright, so that's great. It's going to be a little bit faster. We're just going to have a little bit difficulty because we might be working mostly with a command line while using the short. But that's not a problem. Let's just play around with it and let's see what happens. Okay. All right. So it's taking a minute to bring this out. I actually wanted to run it, so let's so that we can see what is on there from .NET. Right. So I'm going to run it. But while that is happening, you can see that it came with a controller, weather forecast controller, and right inside of this, and let me zoom this up a bit. Okay. One more thing. Then we can work with it. I don't know if this music is too loud. Let's see. Use it a bit. Okay, that should work. Alright, so it's building. So while we're waiting for it to do all of that building and stuff, then we could just look at this. So it's created a controller right in here, created an array of string, right? Yeah, a string array that has different weather. Yeah, so we have freezing, braising, and all of that, right? So it has different weathers, not weathers. So this should come in here, and anyways, I'm going to delete this shot. I don't know. All right, so what's happening? Okay, wait. So then there's this action that gets a weather from a range, selects random weathers, and then returns that, right? So let's see. This, click on yes, and then it also has this weather forecast class. The properties: date, time of date, in temperature Celsius, and temperature Fahrenheit that calculates from the Celsius, right? And then the summary, right? So that is just what was brought to us from .NET 6, and then our app is running now. So I'm going to bring this. I'm going to copy this so that we can check it out, and check it out on here. Let's create a new page for this, and then put in Swagger. That's index.html. All right. So I remember one time I had to battle with this, right? So I didn't put swagger slash index.html, and it was a battle. It kept saying not found, not found, and I was like, wait, what? This is working. Why is it not found? Anyways, well, so if you're building a .NET 6 or did not or a .NET API whether 6 or 5, I think there's no swagger for .NET 3.1, but even supports for .NET 5's done, and .NET 3.1 will be losing support by the end of this year. But if you're still working on those, I guess, and then it's not redirecting to the Swagger documentation page, all you need to do is just type in slash swagger slash index.html. And then we could just try this out and then see what happens. All right, so we have this, we have our API working, but this is not what we want. We want to create a CRUD app with MongoDB as our data storage. All right. So to help with this, we first of all need to go to NuGet package store to get some of the NuGet packages that we need, right? So www.nuget.org/packages, I think. Yeah, that's correct. And while that is happening, I'm going to close this, drop this down. Then I'm going to delete. I'm going to delete this. Another unique thing actually with .NET 6 APIs is the fact, or .NET 6 projects, is the fact that there is no start of the CS, right? So it just kind of makes it neater, right? You just go to your program.cs and everything is right in there, and then you could register your services for dependency injection right here in your program.cs, and just makes it a whole lot neater than you know than you would probably find out in finding .NET 5 APIs or .NET 3.1 APIs. Okay, great. So enough of the talking. Let's see. MongoDB entities, what we would be installing. Okay, I'm going to click on search. I actually thought I was on Visual Studio, right? Because when you do that on Visual Studio NuGet Package Store or NuGet Package Manager, you just type it just automatically searches your package for you. But then I was waiting. Oh my word. Anyways, so this is what we need. We need MongoDB entities. As you can see, it has 1,140. What's that? 149,000 downloads in total. So we could use this, just copy this, come on here, and just paste that in. But I'm going to make sure it picks the most. Oh shit! No, I should have removed the version. My bad. Should have removed the version. It picks the most recent version. Yep. Let's see. So we have that should be 20.26.3. So that should do it. If I come on here, we should have MongoDB installed. What's happening? Okay. That's weird. Hmm. Give me a second. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Let's do this. Let's see what's gonna happen. So I would prefer to use 20.26.3. So it's gonna be 3 2026. Okay, so I'm going to restart this. And let's see what's going to happen. Okay, so it's trying to restore our project and it's done and we're good. That's 26.3. So to just make sure everything is good, I'm going to build the project. Oh my god, what am I doing? Okay, great. So just going to do that, and while that is happening, I'm going to. Oh, let's just wait a minute for it to do all of this. All right, great. So no errors. So what do we want to do first? We want to create. Let's create a folder for our models. We're going to be creating just one model, and in this case, we will create a class called. Let's see. So let's create a user management project. Yeah, so that should work. So I'm gonna create a class called user, and so for us to use MongoDB entity, our entity classes would have to inherit from entity, right? And then bring in a user statement for MongoDB.entities. So right here, if we try to go inside the definition, you would see that it already has a bson ID right here, and then it also automatically generates a new ID for us. So what that means is we do not need to now create a prop object ID like in MongoDB driver. So you do not need to create that anymore because it's already in here where we're inheriting it from. So all we need is just normal properties. So this is gonna be first name. Let's go to this. Then let's see. Oh my god. I'm gonna say last name. Then I'm going to create an enum for gender. This will just be no, female. Solution. And all we need to do is just pass in this here. Maybe public gender gets sets and yep. Then finally, should we just have one more data for? Let's see what data should we use. Let's just get an email. Let's get an email. And, make this default. Okay, so we have our entity class now. Then what else do we need? We probably need let's create a repository class, a folder, sorry, repository folder. And inside of it, we're going to create an interface of user interface. And we'll also create a class of user repo. So I think I'm just going to name this iUser repo. So I'm going to rename this to iUser repo. Just do this. Okay, great. So when I started learning, I think it was really difficult for me to know how to write my interface classes. And one thing that made it quite easy for me was writing, let's see, writing the service first or the repository first, and then in the interface properties. I dare call them properties, interface properties, and then pasting that in the interface. So I'm just going to do that same thing now, and let's see how that works out for us. Okay, so public. I'm creating a method. So I'm going to say public. Let's see. So we want to create a user now. So what we want to do is public. Let's see. Let me put this as void. Create user. Let's see what we're going to be returning first. So what we're going to be expecting our user and user, right? And using MongoDB entities is as easy as saying await. Let's see, user dot save the same. Let's say save sync. Let's try this. Then we have to bring in using statements, and then I'll make this a task. Right, so just passing in model as an argument, and then right there in the method, just saving a sync. There are probably different other ways to do this, and that would mean let's just go to the documentation for a second. This is it. So let's see the different ways to to use this. So if we go to the documentation rather, let's see. Okay. Entities save. Okay, great. So it says book the service sync. Then if you want to save multiple entities, you could just put them in an array and just say books the service syncs, and then it's just not enough to save them as a range. Then you could also do this db.saveasync and then passing book into it. That's a different way we could do that. Then we could say, so if you go through the documentation, it's very well explained and then very well documented. You could just use it to, insert and whatever you want to do with it. So that's for saving to the database. I'm just going to use the simple option of save, and we're good. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this into the interface. Then I'm going to inherit on our project. So that's note that is the implementation as usual. So let's see. And then I have to bring in a using statement on this. Then I'm going to come back here and no, not here. I'm going to come back here and inherit from the interface. Okay, great. So now we have our create user method, right? Okay. All right. So one thing we need, so we probably should start testing before going for that to getting and all of that, right? So we need to start testing. So what we want to do that? Let's go back to MongoDB cluster, and then let's connect to an application, pick the driver, and then 2.5 or later, then we pick this connection string. But while we're trying to do that, I think we need first to, let's go back to get started. So see how after installing this, you want to initialize using this. Okay. Let's see. Let me use this actually. So I'm going to go. I'm going to use this. Going to our program CS class from right here on the top here. Before any other thing, I'm going to bring this in. Then using this database name, I'm going to call it user management, Mongo client settings, driver, then address. Okay, so okay, this is going to be a bit difficult. Let's see. Database name, host address, and port number. Yes, I'm actually going to use this actually. This is better. This is better, right? Because I want to use the connection string that is gotten from our cluster. Let's use this instead. Okay. Wait, something is missing. I have to go to the end, right? I have to go to the end, and I'm gonna get this. Oh shit. Isn't this supposed to be isn't that supposed to be the most difficult part of process of coming back? Why did I even do that? Oh my word. Okay, I'm gonna do this now. Okay, great. So now we have the database name. So I'm gonna use user management as a database name, then connection string. I'm going to come. I would come back to where are you? Yeah, I'm gonna copy this, and I'm going to. I would paste that in here. My password. My password. What is my password? Hmm. Okay, so I would have to go off camera for this because I think I would need to get my password from somewhere. I can't remember what it is. Just give me a second to get my password. Um, Stop sharing. Let me get the password. Where are you? Password. Hmm. Okay. Where are you? Password. Oscar. Okay. Okay. I think I now remember where it is. Um. mm, mm, mm. Okay. Oh yeah, yeah you are. This should work. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's. I'm gonna test this out quickly. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen again. I'm gonna leave out the part where we have my password. Okay, great. Let me do this. Okay. Share screen. All right. So I already put that in there. Right, it's up there. So what I want to do now is I want to add some of the services that I would need. Right. So let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. So that will be, let's see, builder services. Let's add scoped. I'm gonna bring in user user repo and user repo. Then let's see. That should work. Alright, so we've come this far. I'm just gonna build this to make sure everything is pretty fine so far. And then I'm going to remove this. Okay. Close this. I don't need you for now. Build succeeded. I think I still need you. I don't need you. And I don't need you. Alright, so now what we want to do now is we want to create a controller and let's see. I'm gonna call it controller. Great, so it's gonna inherit from API. Decorate with API controller, bring in the user statements, and inherit from controller base. Then let's see, what other thing I think out? Yeah, should be. Then controller. Right. So I normally have difficulty remembering if it's gonna be if it is square bracket or a curly brace. But I guess we're going to find out if it throws an error. Alright, so close this and then drop it out. Okay, great. So then we have to bring in the controller or constructor and I use a repo to use a repo and bring in the using statement for this. And I'm going to just do this and bring in generate read-only field. Then I'm probably going to yeah, that's fine. That's actually fine. So what we want to do is HTTP posts and public my action results creates. Then we can bring in a user and user. So I'm just gonna do a quick check if user is null, means return bad requests, and message the user must not be null. I'm going to pull this out a bit, just a bit. The user must not be null, but if we have a user, then we're just going to put this user repo dot gets what's that? Create this, then the user was that the method. Let's confirm. Create user actually. Sometimes my physical license plays a fast one. Just tries to be pretty fast and smart. Let's see. It's person. This was there. Why are you screaming at me? Can it be used within an oh yeah. Right, my bad. Right. So now we're going to return OK. And we could just return OK of a user.id or of our user. That's pretty okay. And then bring in the user statement for this. And why are you screaming? Oh, must be void task. of an async method must be void. That's like blah blah blah. Hmm. Oh, I think I get what you mean. I get what you mean. Yeah, that's what you meant. All right. Sometimes can be just confusing. All right. Okay. Great. So we are there now. Let's test this out. So we're just gonna run this. Let me run. What am I doing? I think I need to. Hmm. Hmm. We're almost on the hour. We're almost done, anyways. Once we test this out and we'll figure out that it's working pretty fine, then all we need to do is just bring in the other methods for the read, update, and delete. Right? Yeah. Just gonna bring in those methods and we're good to go. So what's happening? It's taking a minute because all right, well up here and oh wow, I'm sharing just that, so would be difficult to bring up. Okay, let me. How do I test this now? Let me share this, and we can test. We have our documentation up here already. All we need to do is reload this, and that's to create a new one. So I'm going to zoom in here so that we can see it. Right. So we have a new method or new endpoint created here, and also we have our schemas for genders and array to 1 and 2. Then we have a user that takes out of this. So I'm going to just create a random user. Oh, okay. So we don't need to pass this in. Normally we should have used the data transfer objects to transfer the data, right? But we don't need to pass this in. So just I'm going to remove that. Then I'm going to pass in John. Doe. His email, and his email would be John Doe at, let's say, email.com. Okay. And then let's send this. Hopefully, it returns a success message. Let's see. Yeah, 200. All right. So normally I would have. So you see that it's generated an object ID for us that we could use to fetch this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this out so that we could use that. I'm going to comment it and put it up here. Okay, we can see what I'm doing right now. Just give me a second. We'll see it in a minute. So that we could use it when we're trying to get that user. Anyway, I actually don't even need to copy it because all I need to do is get all and I'll get the ID. So like I was saying, we should have used the created at action or created at action and all of that. So make this a 201, not a 200, but that's fine. It's persisted to the database and then we've done that bit. Now what we want to do is we want to create the other endpoints. Yeah. So we want to create the other endpoints, and that means we want to drop this down a bit. And that means we want to go back in here and we want to create a get all and get one and what else? Deletes, right? Yeah, so we could do that and then yeah, so let's just do that. We're going to just copy this. Then we're going to change this to a get all. What we're going to be passing in is just a string of ID. Right? Then it's going to be returning list of user, list of users actually, list of users. So it's going to be returning all of this. So what I'm going to do is we could have used the documentation, but I'm sharing just a single screen, so I don't want to go back and forth. So I'm going to do is I'm going to say var users equals db dot find. It's going to be a dot find, right? So what I will find, we're finding an object of user, right? And we're going to be matching it with match ID. Hmm, we use match or match ID. Let's do match ID. And passing the ID. Then we're going to do execute async. Right. So this returns all. No, what did I do? I said get all right. Oh my word. I'm mixing this up. Right. Get all is quite different from get by one. So we're just going to match where's true. Let's say true. And then we're going to get all, right? So that's fine. And we're going to return users. Should fix. Let's see. Yeah, await this. Okay, great. So then what I want to do is I want to just move this to the great. Then we want to also get one. And then get one is just going to return one user going to receive a string of ID. Okay. Yep, just gonna find this and I'm gonna match ID. Pass an ID and then execute one. Sync. Nice. It's complete. Does not contain a definition, no accessible extension, item, blah blah blah. Find user. That's a tough one. Why is that not working? Okay, let's see. Let me switch this first. Okay, let's execute. Who does it first? I think a single async. Okay, while doing it, let me let's okay, x goes to x dot ID equals ID. Then execute first async. Should work. Yeah. Alright then. And then change this to user. And I'm going to move this to okay, move this here. And so that's gets one. Then what just we have for updates. We need to create for updates. Okay. So what I'm going to do for updates is just going to do this same thing, but passing the user. Okay. This is going to be a bit tricky. Get and get. I'm going to say match ID. Passing the ID. I'm going to use the modify with, I'm gonna modify with user, then I'm going to execute a thing. Oh yeah. Okay. I was gonna say updated user. Alright, great. Right. So that's I'm going to return that. Then yeah, so the thing with this is I am supposed to pass the ID with this user since I'm not using it here, right? But it might still work. But let's see, we're going to test it out and find out, right? And change this to an updates and then change this to a get. Alright, that's fine. Then just update the repo. So this is gonna be a get and it's gonna be an update. Alright, so let's try this out. Try this out. We have create already, so we're going to use get. That's gonna be a get and slash get all. Then it's passing into this. So that means I have to just over all users plus previous that's it's all and then we're passing everything into it. Give me a second. Okay, great. Okay. So now we want to check. I'm just going to return this. I want to check if there is something inside of it. So just do something like if all users is greater than zero, do this, else do this. But this is fine. If it's zero, it's just going to return an empty array, which is also fine. So I'm going to allow that. Then I'm going to copy this and paste it. And this time I'm going to make it get and get one. I'm just gonna call it get one, and then this expecting string of ID, and I'm gonna pass that ID in here. All right, it's gonna be user. Okay, great. So let's forget one. Then what about updates? Let's also do one for updates. So our updates is going to be a put method. So I'm going to use this. Just gonna use a put. HTTP put and you can call this updates. Passing string ID and user. That's fine. Then updates ID and user. Okay. And let's see. Okay. Updated user. And I'm going to return this. So we have all of this now. Let's just test it out and let's see what's going to happen. While that is running, I'm going to share my screen again and share the other browser so we can test it out. So it's still building. So we cannot run it right now. Let's just wait for it to run completely and we'll be good to test it out. Meanwhile, ever since I started using MongoDB entities, it's quite simple to use, quite, and the documentation, wow, really, really explanatory, right? If we come back here and then just check this out, let's see, queries, yeah. So so we have for updates, the one we're doing right now. Let's start from there. So you could see we match, then we modify. We could modify just a single property. We can modify the whole object. Where is that? Where are you? Yeah, we could modify all properties, only a few specified properties, and really quite detailed. Then for delete, so we're not going to work on delete, but all you need to do is just delete a thing and stuff like that. Then relationships, right? So for relationships, we could do this. You could just play around. Maybe on a different stream, I'm going to come around and play around with relationships, MongoDB relationships. So let's see how we can use this for. I haven't actually used it for one-to-one or relationship between different modules. I haven't actually done that. So maybe on a different stream, I'm going to try and do that and see what happens. But one-to-one, one-to-many, and all of that. Embedded removal, stuff like that. Then reference relationship. Right. So basically, this is really really detailed. We should try this out. We should try it out. So on a different stream, I'm going to do that. Then queries and all of that. Find by ID. What we just did now. So we could just find one, find many, and I think I used some other stuff. Execute and execute first, and there is execute single and all of that, right? So yeah, it's a single. So it's really, really detailed, and you could just play around with it. All right, so it's running now. All we need to do is just reload this and try it out. Great. Now we already created one, so I'm just gonna try out to get it back, and then we have this John Doe. Then let's also try to get one. Execute this and see how fast it is, right? I remember streaming on a different project and then it took me a while to run some query, right? But this is pretty fast and I'm liking it actually. All right, so then let's update this. Let's update it. So it's gonna try. We're gonna try to pass the ID. Right here, I'm not going to pass it. Should we? Let's not pass it. Let's see what's going to happen. So instead of John Doe, oh yeah, what's going to leave it at John Doe? Maybe John Doe transgender. I don't know. I'm going to leave it at one. Okay, so it's going to call it John Doe one at email.com. Right, so okay. Now let's execute this and see if it's going to update without an error. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. All right, that's exciting actually. So let's get all again to see if we have our John Doe one at email. Great. Now we can update. So this is pretty fine. This is us using MongoDB with our Net6 API, and we could extend it. We could make it deep, bigger, and better. Like I said, probably on our next stream or on a different stream, we'll try out MongoDB relationships, one-to-one, one-to-many. Just play around with it and see how to work with it and all of that. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, how to work with it. And you could also go to the website mongodb-entities.com to see some of the stuff that are on there and just try it out. Let's see the benchmarks before we leave. Right? Yeah, so this is really good. This is really good. Wow. Wow. So you might want to also try it out. I've been using it for a couple of months now. You might also want to try it out. And really, really thank you very much for watching. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. This is actually my first stream, and it's really an experience, I must say, for me, because although I stream with Ellen on my on the .NET book study, which is a different stream I participate in. But I actually wanted to do a solo stream where I would be discussing different stuff that I work with. And if you check at the base of your screen, it says Learn Code Adventures. So sometimes I also would like to probably talk about adventures I'm on. I don't know. Let's see what this presents for us, right? So you could reach me on my websites at egabriel.dev. I write articles from time to time. I'm probably going to write an article on this, right? .NET 6 and MongoDB. Let's see if I can find the time to do that, right? So I'm probably going to do that. You could also get me on Twitter with on at underscore code ace at underscore code ace. So thank you very much, and bye bye.